As always, not really 100% sure what's coming through today, so we'll just see. I got some feedback that the last video audio wasn't great, so I'm trying this again with my iPhone on a tripod, so I don't know where to look. I think it's over here, so bear with me. We're still working through technical issues. One of the repeated patterns that seems to be arising here in my one-on-one sessions with clients and even in my own physical home with my dog and cat of all things is anxiety. I think everyone watching this will be able to admit that at some stage in this lifetime there's been an experience of anxiety, regardless of what's happening in life, if it's seeming to be related to just a situation or an experience or a collapse of, a job or a relationship. It could be many things that it seems to be attributed to. Some people live with lifelong anxiety, and some people just have it arise during certain experiences or appear that way. Regardless of what it is, at the end of the day, anxiety is really just a fear of this moment, an unwillingness to stay here in this moment. It's typically attributed to being off in some future that hasn't happened yet, and really creating a concept of the mind that whatever's coming out there in that future is terrifying. So for my dog, for example, started or seemed to have started when my son went off to college, and he started associating whenever he would put his backpack together for the day and his friends would pull in front or come to the door, that meant my son was leaving. So slowly Milo associated backpack, friends, door, going with anxiety. So we started to notice as soon as Declan started to pack his backpack up, Milo would start panting and the anxiety would kick in, and the separation and the fear and all that came with it. So fast forward, my son's now been off to college for quite a while, and now it's become anxiety associated attached to me. So he sees me getting my laptop bag out and starting to pack my water bottle and things to go into the office, and the panting starts. Or if somebody comes over to visit, one of Declan's friends, which they often do come over and pop in and stay for a while, he attributes them coming here to taking me. And sometimes I do go with them. I'll go have dinner or go have lunch. And so now all this association comes in Milo's apparent mind that when this happens, when X happens, Y is the outcome, which is anxiety, separation anxiety. As soon as he sees me come home, hang the laptop bag up, put the pajamas on, and sit on the couch with my heating blanket, the panting stops. So, he's no different than us, right? Really? There seems to be a trigger, and there seems to be something that is the precursor to the actual anxiety. That is the part that needs to be uncovered or discovered, because it's not about what's happening. It's our thoughts about what's happening or what could happen. That loss of the relationship, that loss of the job, that loss of the home, that loss of the experience, that loss of that lover, that loss of whatever income that hasn't even happened, it's not even here yet, is already creating all these stories that are storifying in the mind. They get in there and they just feed off of each other. And then X becomes X times a million. All the things that could happen are now floating in this awareness. If I lose the relationship, I lose my financial stability. If I lose that person, I lose the whole family that comes with that person. If I lose the house, I lose all the memories that were in that house. That's just one example of someone going through a divorce. Those are all the stories that can storify and become very painful. Yet, what if none of it's true? What if that relationship that's ending is a doorway to a beautiful new relationship? What if that job that's disappearing is a beautiful invitation to a whole new career? What if that financial stability that's collapsing is actually making room for something much larger? Life is far kinder than we ever give it credit for. I think we all have hindsight being 2020, and we can all look back at some past and say, gosh, wish I hadn't spent, 3 months festering over this concern. It worked itself out. I was taken care of. I was supported. Life held me. All the things and the people and the situations came into place, and I was taken care of fully throughout the whole thing. And I worried and I festered and I stayed up nights and I got sick in my gut and I went through every possibility of what could happen and what's going to come of me. Ouch. It's so painful, and of course it causes anxiety. Of course it causes suffering. Yet in this moment, which is all that we can know, truly, the panting has stopped. All is well. The stories will storify, you guys. They will. It's what they do. The mind is a computer. If you don't change the program, it's going to run the program. It's going to run the same program over and over. It's going to storify it. It's going to connect dots. It's going to associate it with some past experience. It's going to take on all of the things that our friends or family are telling us could take on. It's going to take on all of the responsibility for the others that apparently will be harmed by this. Not your circus, not your monkeys. Yes, they're going to be up here scrambling for your attention. There's no doubt. But if you ask if they're true, if you get quiet enough to breathe through it and say, okay, you can be here. I'm going to let you come up and out. That energy of busyness or whatever. Breathe through it, cry through it, tantrum through it, punch a pillow, go to the gym, run it off. I'm not saying to push it down. Hear that very clearly. I'm not saying to get rid of it or stuff it down or numb it out. It's quite the opposite of that, actually. It's here because it wants to come up and out. It is ready to come up and out. It is a liar. Anxiety is experienced in the body as uncomfortable on purpose, not to harm us. Just like fear and depression, and all these other things, jealousy, they're not arising to harm us. They're arising because they're not our truth. And our body is saying, I don't want to hold on to that. It doesn't feel good. It's not mine. My true divine nature knows that that's not my stuff. I'm trying to come up. If you give me some energy, I'll come right out. And then we can look at this in a really healthy way. And to me, this is no different than the dynamic of having a communicative conversation with someone you love that you're in a relationship with. Romantic, career, friendship. I was just speaking with a friend about this yesterday. The dynamic with the self shouldn't change, right? If you're sitting down with another and you're compassionate and you have empathy for them experiencing this tremendous anxiety, which is very real to them in the moment, telling them it's not real is not a compassionate way to deal with it, right? Just like if a little child came up to you and said, I'm scared, I feel nervous, hopefully you would sit and say, sit down, honey, and let's talk about it. What are you nervous about? What's causing this? Well, Timmy at school is going to beat me up tomorrow. Okay, why is Timmy at school going to beat you up tomorrow? Well, I stole his crayons today, and he told me he's going to beat me up tomorrow. Okay. Well, how did that make you feel? Anxious and scared, and I don't want to go to school, my tummy hurts, and I want to do something about it. Okay. Let's go get a new box of crayons. Let's apologize, and let's clean this up. Maybe he's going to be your best friend after this. Maybe you guys were meant to go through a tough patch to find a common ground. Right? That's how love would show up to a child. Why do we show up any differently to our inner child? Why do we show up any differently to our inner child, which deserves the same level of compassion and empathy, right? We've been conditioned to push it away, not listen to it, or believe it. Ouch, even more painful. Or commiserate with others about it. Ooh, that's a fun one. Let's get on the phone with my pal and commiserate about how horrible my life is and why I deserve to feel anxious about it. Let's get him to weigh in and say, gosh, I would feel that anxious too. Sorry, just watching the time. Yet there's a simpler direct path. It's so subtle we step over it, of course. And the subtler direct path is exactly what you would do with the child, with yourself. What's this anxiety about? What could happen? Can you know what could happen? Sure, you could play all kinds of scenarios, but are you God? Are you God guiding? Are you God guiding? Are you out there working on the dream in the dream again? Life is far kinder than any story the mind can tell us about it. 9/10 of what we worry about never happens. We all know this. We can look back, apparently, and find so many examples of this to be true. Timmy accepts the crayons and says, all right, let's go play. Sorry I was such a jerk about that yesterday. I appreciate you. You showed up, you fixed it. You're a good person. You're my friend now. The relationship's ending. There's something better at the other end of this. All these people you think you've harmed? No. You're opening the floodgates for more to come in. You're opening the heart for more to arrive. You're honoring the truth. And right now you're taking ownership that it's not their truth. But that's never been the case. All of this is connected. All of it. You hear people say all the time, when I went through that divorce, it was the hardest time of my life, but it was the best thing for both of us. I don't think I've ever heard a divorcee not say that in hindsight, whether they were the one to leave or the one that was left. The job ends. In the moment, there's fear, there's panic. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to find another job? How am I going to pay my mortgage? But in a year, when you're in a job that you're happy and passionate about and you're finding your groove, there is this, I wouldn't have left. I needed the universe to take that away from me so that I would get uncomfortable enough to allow something new in. It's always a blessing, you guys. A blessing in disguise. That phrase is not a coincidence. None of this is. None of it. For whatever reason, when it comes to the self, we have less empathy and compassion. We seem to be able to afford it to others, or we avoid them. You know, it could be one or the other. But ultimately, what we end up doing for them is what we end up doing for ourselves. Typically is, you know, if we avoid it in ourselves, we typically avoid it with others as well. Our level of intimacy of ourselves is reflected in that relationship. If we can't show up for another when they're going through anxiety or pain or suffering, we typically can't show up for ourselves authentically either. So there's a real opportunity to heal this, not just for yourself, but for your relationships, for intimacy with other people, for our ability to really hear and connect. And that's a powerful part of this human experience that we seem to want to sidestep until we don't. Everything, every single thing is honoring this moment as it is, honoring what's arising here, whether it's anxiety or fear or love, any of it. Again, not just pointing to the icky stuff. Let's point to the good stuff too. If we clasp on or resist any of it, that's where the suffering comes in. I have a loving moment. It was an amazing moment. Let me clasp and control that. Ouch. I have a horrific moment of fear, anxiety, depression, jealousy, guilt, remorse, shame. We can go on. And I clasp to that. Ouch. They're all energy. We label them. Good, bad, right, wrong, things, thinging. We label them. We're the ones that give them these dualistic labels, and then they're stuck. But they're just energy in the body causing pain on purpose, not to harm us, so that we can get clear. We can come out of the dream and we could say, okay, all right, little 3-year-old, what are you clasping to here? Come in my lap. Sit with me. You have my attention. I love you. I don't like that you're feeling this way, so let's look at it. You're anxious. Okay, where are you? Out in some future? Because that's anxiety. You're out in the future. You're already projecting it to be terrifying. You're already projecting that everything that you're going to do is going to have a trickle-down effect and everybody's going to be harmed, and that's your fault. Depression. You're back in some past. You're stuck in some story back here that you're dragging, which is causing the body to want deep rest. It's exhausted. It's been tugging and loading this load that's not even here. Jealousy, fear, guilt, shame, again, all attributed to a past or a future that hasn't happened or already came and went. What's here right now? I've got water. I've got my heating blanket. My candles are lit. They smell beautiful, by the way. My dog is laying down and not panting at the moment, which is pretty on. I don't have another conference call for 40 minutes. Hallelujah. My voice is better today, which is nice. I mean, I can find so many things in this moment that are just perfect. I can look out the window and see birds. I can look down at my feet and see these cute little toes that I just had painted. I can look across the room and see my darling little doodlebug curled in her sun seat. This moment's perfect. It's as soon as I slip to an idea of this is ending, that's going away, I need to do this, I need to get that done, I can't proceed with this until I do that. All of these mental lists, all of these mental games, all of these stories storifying, that's what hurts. Not this moment. Not this moment. Never this moment, which is all we can know to be our truth. Life is kinder I promise you, than any story this guy can tell you about it. It's a computer. It's going to keep banging out programs until you start challenging it. That's what it's built to do. Your heart is smarter than that. It knows. There's an intuitive knowingness that this is a liar. Yet this and that several inches down to that somehow don't seem to correlate. They don't connect until they do. Okay, so now what, Kelly? This is all cool. This is all dandy. Now what? Start right here. Right here and right now. There's no other place that I want to be. We all know that song, right? Right here and right now. What's arising? Check in with the body. What's it feeling? The GPS never lies. The internal GPS is always giving you the reading. You just have to tune into it. Okay, feeling a little anxious. What's that about? Come in my lap, sweetheart. That 3-year-old, that little internal 3-year-old, climb in my lap. Tell me what that's about. I'm worried about tomorrow. I have a big job interview. Okay, is tomorrow here yet? No. Okay, so what are you projecting out there? Worst case scenarios. I won't get the job. There'll be others that are more qualified. I have 2 weeks to get this job and get that income to pay that bill. Do you see the storification that just happened in that quick relapse of and review of what the mind is doing? Can you know any of that? No. Can you know any of that to be true? No. Yet if you walk in that interview tomorrow with all of that, do you not think the other person on the other side of the desk is going to feel that energy of desperation? Of course they will. We've all watched body language and energy, and you feel it. You feel desperation energy. What if you could just let all of that come up and pass through and breathe through it and say, okay, 3-year-old, I hear you. I get that these are the things the mind wants to tell you, but what if I were to tell you life is far kinder than anything this guy can tell you about it? What if I was to tell you that if you just sat here for a few minutes with your heart center and breathed into it and said, it's okay that these things are buzzing in the head. They're not my things. They're just thoughts. So let's let them pass on through and let's see them as the liars that they are, and let's breathe through it. Maybe do some tapping, right? Got that emotional freedom technique. Tap, 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 tap. Get some endorphins going. Breathing. Ground. Drink some water. Get up, wash your hands in some warm water, and ground yourself to the earth again. Take your socks off. Step outside. Ground yourself to the soil. Whatever it is for you. Bring yourself back to this moment. Nothing needs to pull us from this moment. Until next time, much love.